Today I want to give you guys some tips on how you can eliminate toxicity from your life, particularly when it comes to chemicals. Some of these tips are not going to be very obvious ones, but one thing that they will all have in common is that they're all super duper easy to do. I feel like a lot of people get very overwhelmed when they start down the holistic path because they realise that there are a lot of things that modern society has normalised that are wreaking havoc with people's health. And sometimes it can put people off and put them in this state of perfectionism where they feel like they've either got to be in one camp or the other. Either you're supernatural and holistic, or you just slather yourself in chemicals and accept defeat. I can promise you that if you follow all of these tips, you will notice a huge difference and improvement in your health. The first tip, which has made a huge difference for me, is replacing all of my washing powder with bicarb. You guys know me by now, I hate fragrances, and I was getting really overwhelmed with the scent that is put in all washing powder. And I started looking for an alternative and realised that bicarbonate of soda is actually used for so many different things when it comes to not just your health, but cleaning as well. A lot of people are under the illusion that if something smells like a strong, clean fragrance, it means that it's completely sterile and clean. And if something doesn't smell like that, it must still be dirty. This is an illusion that we have been put under. Bicarbonate of soda actually has many disinfecting properties, and from personal experience, I've been using bicarb in my washing now for over a year, and the clothes don't only come out smelling beautifully fresh, like genuinely fresh, but the whites are actually coming out a lot cleaner and brighter, and what do you know? I stopped getting headaches. A lot of people are very hesitant to make this transition because it's not a common thing amongst normal people to use bicarb for washing, but back in the olden days this was normal. And if you find anyone that is holistic, that's been doing this for a while, they will all tell you the same thing, that bicarb is amazing for cleaning. And in my personal opinion, there's no negatives with using it. And if you're savvy as well, you could potentially save a lot of money. So I buy a huge, massive tub of bicarb from Amazon for about £15, and for every wash load I use this little glass scooper thing that I have and I just pop it in with the washing and then that's it. Simples. In addition to this though, there are a lot of benefits to bicarb. So if you happen to have something in the house that smells of a strong perfume or a scent that you don't particularly like, you can actually put a bowl of bicarb next to it and the bicarb will actually absorb the scent. This is great for me because sometimes I get things from Depop and every single time it stinks of this strong washing powder or perfume, and some of these items I've really struggled to get the smell out. Also, sometimes if you get things from China, like I do, there's all sorts of really weird smells that come from things from China, sometimes, not all the time. But all I need to do is plonk them next to a bowl of bicarb, leave it overnight, and boom. Done. You can also do this if you're painting your house and there's a smell of the chemicals from the paint. Put a bowl of bicarb next to it and it's gone within an hour. Magic. And just one more tip before we move on. If you have stomachache and you're one of those people that takes one of those Rennie things, I personally wouldn't touch that with a barge pole because all you really need to do if you have indigestion or some kind of low-level stomachache is take the tiniest end of a teaspoon of bicarb with some water. Tastes a bit meh, a bit tangy, but what that does is it balances the pH levels in your stomach. This is something that I've done all of my life really. I don't get stomachache on a regular occurrence, but whenever I have, that's what I've done and it works so quick. Okay, so the next thing. If you really want to make a huge difference when it comes to your health, I would strongly recommend to get rid of everything in your household that has fragrance in it. Perfume, scented candles, makeup products that have a strong fragrance. I mean, that's So unnecessary, really. Shampoo, deodorants. If you were to look at the average person and how many of these different fragrances they are spraying on themselves on a day-to-day basis, to me it shocks me because I know how dangerous all of this stuff is. This stuff literally destroys your health. I'm not even joking, and I won't rant on about it too much because I've actually done a whole video about fragrance, and I do empathise with the fact that there are some people that actually have an emotional connection with scent. So some people actually love fragrance because it brings them a level of emotional comfort. I get it, and what I would say is that in your own time, if you feel inclined to do so, try and find something else that brings you that level of comfort that isn't so negatively impacting your health. And of course, I'm not telling anyone what to do, but I feel like it's my duty to speak the truth. So that's all I'm going to say on the matter. Oh, wait, no. One more thing. Some people wear perfume because they somehow feel like they're going to attract the opposite sex more. They feel like the perfume makes them more attractive somehow. And to that, I will just say this. There is absolutely nothing more attractive than the pheromones, the natural pheromones of a healthy, high vibrational person. Nothing competes with it. Number 3 is to replace refined sugar and artificial sweeteners with honey. Honey is something that is completely natural, it's not messed with, and from my own personal experience, I have literally overcome sugar addiction while having a spoon of honey in my tea every day, and I don't get sugar cravings anymore. My taste buds can't even cope with things that are traditionally, like chocolate and cakes and stuff. It's too sweet for me now because I've gone such a length of time now without refined sugar, or I never, ever, 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 ever would touch Splenda or stevia or any of those artificial sweeteners. They're poison, right? Don't touch it. All of this stuff that they brought out, that these diet products like Diet Coke, for example, people think that somehow it's not doing anything bad to their body, but honestly, from everything that I know, sweetener is a psyop. Okay? It's a psyop. Next thing, put your phone on aeroplane mode at night. And if you can, turn the Wi-Fi off. Nowadays, we are all being exposed to such a high level of EMF radiation, and this has been slowly increasing over the decades. And none of us know what the long-term effects are of this radiation. We are currently in the process of guinea pigging it. We don't know what this is actually doing to us. But the other thing is that unless you completely detach from this society, you are being exposed to it a lot. So the best thing to do, in my opinion, is instead of freaking out about it, just do what you can. For me, I have to use these devices, I'm a YouTuber, it's kind of essential, but I became very conscious of that radiation, and I have actually done a full video about that as well, so I'll link all of these in the description. The closer these devices are to you, the radiation doesn't just increase by one notch, it kind of amplifies. If my phone's here, for example, and then I move it to here, there is a dramatic difference of radiation between the two. Okay? So if you have it right next to your body all of the time, it's kind of a recipe for disaster. And I know that probably none of you guys do this, but I have to just say this, right? There are some people that go to bed with this phone under their pillow. Do not do that, please. Don't. Right, it's so easy not to do that. I won't even go into the potential health problems that can happen from that. You guys already know. I mean, I don't need to say. Anyway, so if you put your phone on airplane mode, as much as possible really, you're massively lessening the amount of radiation, and it doesn't take much effort. So, there we go. Okay, this one's a nice one. I promise I won't rant about this. I won't get angry, I promise. Every single day, move your lymphatic system. Help it along. Your lymphatic system is the system that actually eliminates all of these toxic chemicals from your body, right? And sometimes if you're really sedentary and you don't move a lot, sometimes the lymph can get stuck. And this is where health problems potentially start to fester. One of the easiest ways to drain the lymphatic system is actually just to jump. Jumping on the spot, bouncing around, dancing. I mean, this is what I do because I don't actually like jumping. It hurts my head. But movement, really, should be enough to get that lymphatic system moving. And this is something that really we should be doing every single day. If you see that in nature, this is how we were supposed to live. But this is a super obvious one. We know that we're not supposed to be living this sedentary lifestyle, but we do anyway because of this fucked up system. Anyway, another thing that I've been doing recently a lot is lymphatic drainage using gua sha. I'm sure most of you guys have heard of gua sha already, but maybe some of the men watching haven't heard of it. If you get a puffy face in the morning, just do like 5 minutes of gua sha and all of that fluid will drain. It's super therapeutic and super easy. However, don't just follow anyone's routine on the internet because there's a lot of people that are doing it completely wrong. Mainly celebrities. I personally would look for someone who's got a decent knowledge when it comes to Chinese medicine, and I would follow their routine, as opposed to the car trashians. When you start learning about the lymphatic system, sometimes it can be a little bit overwhelming. It was for me because I was thinking, I don't want to move my lymph in the wrong direction, because if you move it in the opposite direction to how it's supposed to flow, you're kind of working against your own body. But here's a super simple thing just so you know. Whenever you are massaging the lymph, which is just gentle, right? Just always make sure you're going in the direction of the heart. So everything goes towards the heart. Massage will also move the lymph, but not everyone can afford a daily massage every day, so I know I can't. Okay, number 6. I might get a little bit ranty here. Teflon pans. Get rid of them. I will keep saying this because they are so toxic and they don't even do anything positive. They make your food taste crap, they poison you, and they suck. And so many other reasons. If you want me to do a video about them, I can do, but sometimes I just get frustrated because I think, why don't people just listen? Right. Teflon pans are just a complete and utter psyop. For the small benefit of your food not sticking to the pan when you cook it, you are having to overcompensate for your health. And to me, that's ridiculous. The toxicity that comes from these pans can have such lasting effects on people's health. And I know factually that everyone who uses one has no idea about this. They don't think that it's bad because they think, well, if it's being sold in the supermarket, then it must be safe. No, just use stainless steel with butter, not seed oils. That's another thing. It's not a point in this video because I've done, again, a whole video about seed oils, but if you cut out seed oils, if you were to ignore everything that I say in this video and you just cut out seed oils, yeah, huge health benefits from that. Huge. Okay, so number 7 might be a little bit of an obvious one for most of you guys, but for anyone who hasn't thought of it, get a water filter or only drink bottled water. Do not drink water straight from the tap. Ever. I'll tell you guys a secret, right? It's not really a secret, but it's something that might shock you. I might come across as someone who has a reverse osmosis system. I don't. For anyone who doesn't know what a reverse osmosis system is, it's a system that completely filters out all of the chloride and the fluoride and all of the other things from the water system. Because of how expensive this system is to fit, I have never had the privilege of having one. But what I do have is something ever so simple. I have a Brita filter. And I know that some of you guys may say, yeah, but a Brita filter doesn't actually filter out any fluoride at all. And what I would say to that is, It must be doing something, because I personally believe that my pineal gland is very, very not calcified. Or maybe that's my ego speaking. And I've just simply been drinking from Brita filter water. I will not touch tap water with a barge pole, and haven't for many, many years. So to anyone who is poor, a Brita filter is 20 quid and you're good to go. Okay, my next tip is prop your device up. These phones are a psyop. Recently, I have been obsessed with things like fascia, posture, the spine. I've been learning a lot about it and realizing that our posture is so, so, so important. It is vital for us to have good posture if we want good health. The health of your spine should be the utmost importance, in my opinion. What these phones have done to the general public is most people now suffer from forward head posture. If this forward head posture gets any worse, it starts to develop into like a hunchback. I've never really been one to look down at my phone like this and scroll for hours on end, but when you see people doing it and you see what it's doing to their posture, it's really, really scary. And this is done deliberately, which really pisses me off. But a way to combat that is to become very, very conscious of it. And I'm not telling you to never go on your phone. That would be very hypocritical. What I'm saying is find ways to combat this. So no matter how weird you look in public, I personally, if you're going to go on your phone, hold it up like this, right? Not down here. Forget about what other people think, because other people, most people, are lost, right? Their opinion does not matter. But what does matter more than that is your posture and your health. But what I would also say, personally, if you're watching something like long-form content, prop your device up on something. So most of you guys know in the evenings, my happy time is that I like to sit and watch things on my iPad. That's my chill time. And when I started becoming really conscious of my posture, I realised that my head was actually tilted down a little bit the whole evening while I'm watching my iPad. So what did I do? I got some yoga blocks and propped it up. Simple. So apply this to whatever your routine is. If you know that you're going to be on your phone for a really long time, try and get inventive and find ways to prop it up. If you can make it so that it's actually promoting good posture, then it's a win-win. An idea off the top of my head is actually to get like one of those windy tripod-y things. What I will say is that since I started propping my device up, my neck, all that tension that I felt in my neck has started to really, really go. In fact, now I feel like my spine is in amazing health. But I've also been going to the chiropractor, but you know. Some of it's me as well, you know. Okay, my next tip, really simple but really effective. Make sure that you have 100% cotton sheets. A lot of information is coming out now about all of the toxicity within unnatural fibres that are in clothing. I'm going to be so transparent with you guys. I buy clothes from Shein and Fashion Nova, right? Clothing is one of my passions. And I'm very aware that the clothing that you get from those websites is not holistic, it's not natural, it's not 100% cotton. And I recognise and acknowledge that there's a level of toxicity that's coming from that, okay? But at least I'm aware of it. So my way of compensating is obviously cutting out all the other toxic things. So check your bedding, see what material it's made of. If it's made of polyester, throw it in the bin. Or use it as like a diffuser for a light or something, you know. Or do what my dad does and cut it up into little pieces and then clean the cars with it. I don't know. But don't use it as a bed sheet, because first off, it's not a breathable fabric. And second off, you really want to make sure that you optimize your sleep as much as possible. That's your time for your body to completely regenerate. And you want to give it a helping hand. Sleeping in cotton sheets is an easy thing to do. You buy the sheets once and you have them forever if you look after them. So Somehow I completely forgot to include number 10, probably because it's one of the most obvious things, but I'm just gonna put it out there in this video. Get rid of your fluoride toothpaste. I know that most of you guys have already made this transition, but for anyone who is hesitant, I have been using fluoride-free toothpaste for the majority of my life. I do go to a traditional dentist, and guess what? She doesn't even believe that I use fluoride-free toothpaste because my teeth are in such a good condition. My enamel is in perfect condition. As you can clearly see, my teeth are white. So all of those claims that fluoride is good for your teeth and that it's essential are a lie. I'm just telling you the facts. While I'm on the subject, I just want to make you guys aware of something. There are some influencers at the moment that are pushing this concept that they tried going fluoride free and then they suffered from enamel issues. And then what they've started doing is pushing this toothpaste brand that is fluoride free and contains this chemical called hydroxyapatite. Their claims are that hydroxyapatite is the missing ingredient that you need to protect your enamel if you go fluoride free. I have never used this toothpaste before. It's ridiculously expensive. I see a lot of people pushing it at the moment, and honestly, I believe that it's putting a plaster on a wound. If you find that you go fluoride free and you start to experience issues regarding your enamel or tooth decay, then 100% it is down to diet. There is some form of mineral or nutrient deficiency that you need to address. However, I just want to reiterate that I believe a lot of this is fear-mongering, that as soon as you go fluoride-free, you start to experience problems. I know a lot of people that don't touch fluoride toothpaste, and they don't say to me that they've got any dental problems. The toothpaste that I use is reasonably priced. You can get it in bulk from Amazon, or somewhere else that's more ethical, because, I don't really like Amazon. The brand that I use is called iOLANDE. I specifically use the whitening one, and I've been using it for over 7 years, so that's my personal recommendation. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope that there was something new that you hadn't heard of before. And if you guys have any tips as well, definitely comment them down below. Thank you to everyone who supports my channel. Thank you for liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing. And I'll see you in the next video. Love you, bye. You know I'll be